Hey, New Hope family, it's Pastor Matt with your devotional thought for today. In Romans chapter 12, the Apostle Paul writes, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." This is actually the final sentence in Romans chapter 12, and he's just gone into a long explanation of what the true marks of a Christian ought to be. In fact, in verses 9 through 13, we see that he talks about contributing to the needy. He talks about having a genuine love for one another. And then when he transitions out of that verse, after verse 13, he goes into 14. And 14 through 21 are really about the persecution you might face. When evil things come upon you, how are you to respond as a Christian? As someone who follows after Jesus, what are we called to do? How are we to respond in the midst of not only adversity and hardship, but frankly, in the midst of evil actions that might be taking place against us or towards us or around us? And so I love how he finishes this section by saying, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." You know, if we're honest, there are times where we can look around the world and we can see that there is so much evil. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over the world. There are evil actions being carried out where we kill innocent people around the world. We see even our own babies through abortion, through other processes where we're just murdering our own babies out of convenience. Whatever the case might be, there is so much evil. We see people that are power hungry abusing their power, and rather than caring for the people that they are called to care for, instead they abuse their people. They take advantage of their people. They manipulate their people. There's evil all around us. And if we're honest, there's also at times an evidence of evil within us. As we see earlier in Romans chapter 7, the apostle says, the good I want to do, I do not do, but that which I hate, I do. And he finds at work within his own members that there's the law of sin and death still at work within him. So at times, if we're honest, we also see that there's evil in our own hearts. We might have a desire to tear someone else down. And maybe that's in response to what they've done. Maybe we have received an unfair or untrue accusation or slanderous words have been spoken against us, or actions have been taken that have harmed us deeply. And it's truly evil. And when that evil happens, instead of us being overcome by that, instead of us being overwhelmed by the evil and allowing that to take over how we function, how we respond, instead we are commanded to overcome evil with good. In fact, in this section here between verses 14 and 20, we see him talk about this. He actually quotes a portion of Proverbs where it talks about if your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. And by doing so, you'll heap burning coals on his head. This idea is not purely that you will cause further damage to them, but recognizing that the vengeance that we might want to carry out in the midst of evil, when someone does something evil against us, that vengeance is not ours to take out. That's up to the Lord for how he's going to deal with them in their evil actions. So instead, we can overcome evil with good. And how often have we seen that when someone does something that is evil towards us, if we respond in a way that is kind and gentle and actually loving and filled with the goodness of Christ, it might not only change our perspective towards them, but it also might change their hearts towards us. And it might truly be used by the Lord to lead them to repentance so that you could be reconciled relationally. And also, more importantly than just that horizontal reconciliation, they might be drawn to Christ himself by that example. And this is why Paul says, "Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good." Because if we live out the goodness of Christ, then that will be the marker of Christ upon our lives. That is the mark of a true Christian. So, brothers and sisters, if you're struggling with the evil you see in the world, or maybe there's someone who's carried out an evil action against you, instead of responding with the fleshly desire that we might have to get back at them, that they might feel some of that pain, or they might feel some of that hurt since they've hurt us, instead of responding out of that wounded place, let us respond with grace and mercy and love, and let the goodness of Christ shine in and through us in every circumstance.